Welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we have now unlocked the Audi RS E-TRON GT, completing out the Battle Pass, the Solar Pass here. But the question is, has it all been worth it? The Battle Pass itself, it's a bit interesting. 50, 100, 150, 200,000 in-game credits, and the Audi RS E-TRON GT has essentially been what we have been battling for, or advancing through the game. Everything else, is essentially pretty much useless to us in-game. But like we can see, we have now unlocked the Audi RS E-TRON GT. Has it all been worth it? Is it any good in-game? We're going to have a little bit of a test, a bit of an experiment with the E-TRON today. Now, like we already know, the Porsche Taycan is phenomenally quick in-game. It's actually quite a broken car, we already know that one. But is it worth selling our soul to use EVs in a racing game? For me, no. I never want to use them as much as possible in a racing game. In real life, yes, I have a Tesla Model Y, that's what I drive. But in a game, I want internal combustion. I want a straight 6, a V8, a V12, W16, whatever it may be. I would happily drive an inline 4. Having internal combustion noise in a racing game for me is fundamental. Having the whirring noise of an EV motor isn't something I really want to have on a racing game. Let me know your thoughts on that one, guys. Are you happy to use EVs? Are you just there to have the fastest car in game? It's a fair comment. Or are you like myself and you want to have ICEs, you want to have internal combustion engines and have a bit of noise behind your racing? So for me, we're going to do that experiment today. We're going to go and throw some money at the E-TRON. We're going to get it as best as we can, perhaps add a tune to it, see if we can make it capable in these races, carry out some Grand Tourer races, and just see how capable the E-TRON really is. So as we do come in here, like we mentioned, we're going to throw as much as we can at this: brake, suspension, gearbox. Somehow we're going to do some work to an electric gearbox. Doesn't make all too much sense, but we can of course improve the motor, improve the battery, the cooling system for the batteries and such, the cooling system for the motor. There's a lot we can do to this. Fitting obviously suspension, brakes, slick tyres, get some more grip on the table. It's going to get interesting. We're going to see just how capable it is, but as we can see, what are we, 887 horsepower, 1200 foot-pound of torque. It's going to be phenomenally powerful. A little bit of a colour change, also one of the unlocked colours from the Battle Pass. We might as well use it, but we want to see if it is actually capable. Like we already know, with some incompetent driving, however, the E-TRON does suffer a lot with understeer. So we're going to have to try and eradicate that, or perhaps the improvements we've made have gotten rid of the understeer in the car. It is a very heavy barge, realistically 2.5 tons. It has a lot of weight behind it, once again locking up coming into the right hander, and it does obviously understeer when we come off the brakes and put some power down. But we'll push forward, guys. We'll get on with the first race. It's going to be a favourable race for the EV. It's obviously a lot of straights on this one. Interestingly, we do have a Taycan S taking off with us here. So it's going to be a battle of EVs at the start line here. Both, of course, will get a fantastic launch, which will not be any surprise. And we can see interestingly, the Taycan gets a far better launch than the Audi. So already the Audi is suffering from launch on the Taycan. We do rub a little bit coming into the left-hander. They're rubbing racing after all. We do just pass the Taycan as we come into this tight right-hander. Try not to understeer. We have to use a little bit of the handbrake there just to knock the back end round the corner. So we are still suffering slightly with these slow speed turnings on the E-TRON GT. Perhaps we do need to tune this one up a little bit. We'll try and get a race specific, a grip specific tune put together for this, make it a little bit more capable through the turns. Like we can see though, the EV coming into its strength here on these straights, 160 miles per hour. Yeah, we are pulling away from the pack. Yes, we are on a damp road surface. We know that the AI tend to suffer on the damp road surfaces, like I'm suffering coming through the slow corners here. The AI don't give all too much of a fight on these damp surfaces. We of course, I don't think we have slick tyres fitted at this point. We've obviously seen the road surface was going to be wet, so we do have standard road tyres. We do have a little bit more grip. The AI will always suffer. So perhaps not the best of tests for the Audi so far. It's good to know how we're going to perform on these longer tracks, but we'll push forward today and do some different tests, some tighter tracks as well, and perhaps some touring. But yeah, first race for today, we do finish off in first. Maybe not the best of tests, but we do get a win on the board with the E-TRON GT. Now moving on to the next test for today, A bit of a sound test there, testing out the horn on the electric car. The second test for today, this is of course a very tight sprint. It's actually a circuit here where we did have fantastic outings in the Bentley GT that we can see has very much left us standing on the start line. The first tight right-hander here, how does the Audi fare? Not very well at all. We do have to use a bit of the handbrake to get us round that turn, and the Bentley is pulling away. First tight left-hander and we understeer, we almost go into the wall. We have to use that handbrake once again to get the back end round. A bit too wide on the right hand there, coming into the left-hander, a long left-hander here. We did suffer a little bit with the Bentley, equally suffering here with the Audi, perhaps a little bit worse. The Bentley still pulling away. Coming down through the tight right section, we want to cut the track just a little bit here. Not doing a very good job with the Audi this time out. We've got another 2 laps to try it. Hopefully we can improve. Tight left hand hairpin up ahead. We're going to have to use that handbrake. We're going to have to try and power slide round. It's not doing too well, guys, as you can see. Whether it's incompetent driving, whether it's an incompetent car, you guys can let me know in the comment section. But the Audi not doing fantastically well. On to lap 2. Once again, that tight right-hander, we are having to use the handbrake to try and get, whip the back end round the corner. Left-hander now, can we do any better this time out? No, we do try to use the handbrake and we still somehow understeer. Now we know we've got a long left-hander here. Are we going to keep on track? We're not. We can already see we are heading off. We do get bogged down a little bit on these tighter tracks rather. The Audi isn't doing too well. We try to take a little too much this time out of that left-hander and we do roll the Audi. So overall we're not having a fantastic outing this time out in the e-tron GT. We'll persist, guys. We'll see what kind of performance that we can get down here. Once again, we will stick the handbrake on, try and whip the back end round, try and power slide it, and the back end of course being a little bit too heavy there. Yeah, we don't have a great left hand hairpin. On to lap number 3. Hopefully we can get a decent lap on the board here with the e-tron. Right hander, hairpin always, hairpin as always. We're going to stick that handbrake on, whip the back end round a little bit better this time out, come up the hill into this first left hander. Once again, bit of handbrake, yes, a little bit better this time, but we can see that power slide doesn't really work out all too well for us. Now into that double long left hander. Can we try and keep it off the right hand sider? A little bit cleaner this side out, but we just tap the curb and the back end spins round. We get bogged down in the mud and we do go off track. Overall, an awful outing from myself. I can only apologise for the racing, but as you can see, we're kind of trying to catch our tail with this one, that we are so far behind and we outdrive ourselves. So overall, not a good outing in the e-tron. Final turn round this last hairpin. Yeah, almost to a dead stop on a power slide. Not good overall. So the tight tracks here, the Audi e-tron GT has suffered heavily. Now on to race number 3, and I have now applied a tune to the e-tron, a very much a grip tune, so we do lose a little bit of performance, but as we can see, we're up against some fantastic cars. Ferraris, Aston Martins, Mercedes. It's going to be a rough test, this one. It's a long track, quite a good track, quite a good test track here as well. It's got straights, it's got a lot of tight turns, a lot of long turns, so it's a good experiment. Down into turn 1, we do just keep our nose in front, but yeah, an Aston Martin does take us on the inside and does start to pull away. At this point, the e-tron should be getting its power down, but we're not actually pulling away very well from the Grand Tourers that are in here. The AI taking us out. 1, 2, 3, 4 different AI cars taking us out into that left-hander. It's a bit of a slugfest here. Hopefully get the power down up the inside of the Mercedes into this right-hander. Can we steal second place back? Yes, we do. We do manage to nose in front of the Aston Martin. A little bit of rubbing racing there, guys. We are in a domination race though, so getting that second place is phenomenal. 340 points on the board, just keeping yourselves in front, up to 430 points. So we've already got a few good checkpoints here. I do feel it's going to be a battle to stay on the podium. We're driving ever so defensively in this one, trying to keep the AI behind us, cutting the nose off them as they do stick a nose up the inside, like we did just do there on the Aston Martin. But we outbrake ourselves coming down into this right-hander. The Aston Martin does push ahead. Second Aston Martin here, also pushing away. So we are now 4th on the road, 2nd in the race, but we do just lose the back end down there, and the Ferrari also passing us. We're now down to 5th on the road, but we are still 2nd in the race. It's domination. It feels like it's going to be a bit of a tough task to get on that horse, to stay on that podium. We are down to 3rd place now. Right hand hairpin, hopefully keep that Mercedes behind us a little bit cleaner. We still hit the barrier, not clean at all. left-hander up ahead. We are starting to catch back up with that Ferrari. Hopefully we can keep it on track, keep it nice and tight. We do lose the back end coming downhill, a little bit of a bump in the hill there. We do lose the back end, and we do get dropped down to 7th on the road, I believe. Yeah, 7th on the road, still 3rd on the track. Still 3rd in the race rather. So we really need to get our fingers out, get the power down, try and catch up a couple of those AI to get through the next couple of domination or gates there to try and keep a podium, but it's not looking good. Down the right-handers, left-hander, the Mercedes seemed like it locked up. There we are, hopefully going to catch up with these guys as we do come down towards this gate, and we're still 4th on track. It's not going to be a good ending, I don't feel. Left hand and right hands are all good. We do cross that gate, we do drop down to 4th place, and I think the writing is now on the wall that, yeah, we're not getting a podium this time out. So the Audi e-tron GT, was it all worth it in my opinion? No. Now, yes, it was a battle pass and it was a free car in game, so what can we expect? Perhaps we could spend some time tuning this one up and making it race capable. But for me, it's probably a car I'm never going to use again unless there's an e-tron specific race that this is required for. Let me know your guys' thoughts and opinion on it. Are you like myself that you're going to stick to ICEs? Are you happy to use EVs in game? Please do let me know. Like and subscribe, guys. I want to grow the channel, as you know. 1,000 subs is my goal. I can only do that with your help. Yeah, overall, let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything in today's video. I do hope you have enjoyed it, guys. Stay tuned for more updates on Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown.